Okay, hello, my friends. It is June 18th, 2024. You'll forgive my voice. I have a sore throat, and so I have this. It's like a little deeper, but it's scratchy, and yeah, just bear with me. 1,230 Russians off the battlefield, 16 tanks, 20 armored combat vehicles, 32 artillery pieces, 40 vehicles and fuel tanks. But it's ticking up. The fighting is ticking up in a significant way along the whole line of contact. And I'll show you how that works in just a moment. Andrew Perpetua's numbers look great. About four, maybe even upwards close to 5-1 Russian to Ukrainian losses overnight. The British intelligence update: Russian forces have likely taken control of the village of Novo Oleksandrovka. How about that? I said that. And now I'm going to screw it up the next time. Located approximately 20 kilometers north of Avdiivka, so they keep trying to push past Avdiivka because there's a critical highway there in Donetsk Oblast. The area has seen heavy fighting throughout 2024, and Russia has been gradually advancing and capturing Avdiivka in February 2024. By taking control of Novo Oleksandrivka, Russia moves closer to threatening the T-0504 road. And this road that, like, it does, I'm trying to say, like, this kind of thing where it becomes this, like, connection between different cities, and if they can capture that road, they really have a hard time with the supply lines. And Russia knows it, and Ukraine knows it. Okay, so that's in Donetsk. Then in Luhansk, the 3rd Assault Brigade confirms this report. The enemy has intensified attacks to reach the borders of Luhansk region. So they're trying to take uh, push the Russians at least to the administrative boundaries of Luhansk. The 3rd and 144th Divisions of Russia's 20th Army, along with tank regiments, artillery, PMC, and special forces, are leading the offensive. So that's Donetsk and Luhansk. How about Kharkiv? Ukraine gradually pushing Russian troops out of Kharkiv Oblast, says Zelensky. Ukraine's military is gradually pushing Russian troops out of Kharkiv Oblast, the president said on June 17th. Moscow launched a new offensive on May 10th in Kharkiv Oblast, where it reportedly managed to advance as far as 10 kilometers, or about 6 miles for Americans. Before Ukraine halted the advance. During a single month of the offensive in northeastern Oblast, Russian forces suffered around 4,000 killed or injured just in that area around Kharkiv. Russia still controls a handful of villages. Ukraine troops repelled 10 Russian attacks in Vovchansk. That's been one of the major little villages that has been contested here on the evening of June 17th. A Russian mill blogger about the situation in Vovchansk, still partially occupied by Russian forces, says that warring parties in Vovchansk are separated not even by tens of meters, but by a few meters. I mean, that's crazy. Like, that's like you can hit them with a rock. Positions are not just in neighboring buildings. It happens in the same house, in adjacent rooms, on different floors. The situation in the city takes us back to Stalingrad, only on a smaller scale. Unfortunately, the losses are great, this Russian mill blogger reports. So if the Russian mill blogger is reporting the losses are great, that's good news for Ukraine. But I'm sure at such close quarters, Ukraine's taking some damage as well. Okay, I saw this and I thought, wow, that's just crazy. Jay in Kiev posted, some members of the Mothers of Missing and Fallen Soldiers Telegram group are angry that their dead relatives got only 5 days training before being sent to Ukraine, while others got 3 weeks. Okay, 5 days training is inadequate. 3 weeks is inadequate. Like if they're comparing it to 3 weeks, you should be doing this for a couple of months to get the full training. But so that's what Russia's doing, to just hurry up and move men up to the front line. And that is something that can help explain the high numbers. 528,000 Russian casualties. There's a reason for 528,000 Russian casualties. Okay. Frontline report, Russia attempts to penetrate Ukraine's defenses in Kharkiv with small assault groups that have resulted in isolated units being decimated, undermining the offensive's momentum. I mean, they're not working together, they're just getting kind of separated and destroyed. And that's a positive thing for Ukraine, but that's also explaining why the casualties are so high. Okay, switching gears a little bit, firefighters tackle a blaze at a Russian oil depot. There were apparently at least two oil depots that were hit. Russian emergency services released a video showing firefighters tackling a blaze at an oil depot in the Rostov region. Here's another view of that Rostov video. I'm not showing the video, just the article itself. Ukraine claimed responsibility Tuesday for an overnight drone attack on a Russian oil facility that started a massive blaze in the latest long-range strike by Kyiv's forces on the border region. The attack set fire to an oil reservoir in Russia's Rostov region, and more than 200 firefighters were at the scene, according to the governor. The blaze covered an area of 5,000 square meters. That's not insignificant. Um, but there were no casualties, Russia's emergencies ministry said. Ukrainian officials, speaking on a condition of anonymity, said that the attack was a special operation of Ukraine's security services, the SBU. The drones targeted two Rostov oil depots that have 22 oil reservoirs. So this wasn't insignificant. This was a pretty big event. Okay, last night Ukraine successfully attacked two oil depots in Azov and Krasnodar region, and that's Jason J. Smart showing this. Here's the fire is still ongoing in the daytime. Okay, Italy, switching gears again. Italy has reportedly planned to send Storm Shadow cruise missiles and SAMP/T air defense systems to Ukraine. So that's another positive development. And then I saw this article and I thought that's really, really interesting. A New Scientist magazine, Ukraine is using artificial intelligence to manage the removal of landmines. The problem is so big that they're using artificial intelligence to triage. There are so many Russian landmines across Ukraine that removing them could take 700 years. Hear that, 700 years, there's so many. To prioritize areas for demining, the Ukrainian government has turned to artificial intelligence model that can identify the most important regions and then start mapping it out and figuring out some things that artificial intelligence is to large language learning what the calculator was to mathematics. Okay, two last things. More air-to-air combat. I'm simply fascinated by the effect that drones have had. And here's one drone. Here's targeting another drone. This is a Russian drone. Here's a Ukrainian drone scope or a sight. And just that drones have changed things so everything is visible. But now drones are attacking other drones, trying to knock them down. And this is really, really fascinating to me. It's changed modern warfare, where tanks used to be the big thing on the battlefield, and now a tank can get destroyed by a $400 drone. It's it's absolutely amazing. And here this guy's about to get knocked out of the sky, and bam, there you go. Wow. Okay. And in the meantime, they're using things like this with a little drone cage over it. Now, if you can get hit by a drone, this is like the least possible protection you can have. That little thing on top of the cage, it just seems like such a bad idea. I mean, such a terrible, terrible, terrible idea. All right. That's all that I have. Thank you for your time. Thank you for the likes, the shares, the subscribes, and thank you for being the kind of person that cares about Ukraine.